Hi everyone, I hope you're ready. We're going to talk about the question I posted, and I hope by now you've actually been able to figure out what it requires. But remember, our point here is not about you as teachers to figure the answers, but our point here is to think about the kind of skills a learner will need in order to comfortably solve this question. So, what does the question say? It says a 5-digit number is made up of different digits that are all odd numbers. So, in the question, the first thing we need to understand here is that, in the question, my concern here was to see how I asked you, like, what skills does a learner or a student will need. Remember, this question is for a 9-year-old, but the skills a 9-year-old will need in order to comfortably solve those questions. So, if you've been able to figure them out, let's go straight and see. So the first one here is that we should remember that we are in what we call a competent-based approach. And a competent-based approach is one which we want to always focus on what a child is able to do. We're not trying to just teach concepts, but the ability of the child as he moves on from the lowest grade to the upper grades is what he's able to do. So this is going to be our focus for this question. What is this child able to do? And from what he's able to do, and how is he going to be able to solve this problem? Now, let's see. And always remember, you should always focus your teaching on the most struggling kid or the most struggling learner. It shouldn't be about your best student. No, your best student can be comfortable with many questions, and if you focus on him, then you might actually be, how would I put it? You might not be helping the classroom. So think about the most struggling kids all the time when you're planning in your teaching. So at the end of the day, you can really help more than half of your class, and not only helping them, but giving them the best of the tools that they will need even in other questions. So, okay, to talk about the skills the student will need in order to solve this question, the first one here that we need to understand here is on differentiating. And notice one thing with my way of actually outlining the skills a student will need in order to understand. This is an advice for you teachers whenever you're planning your teaching. You always need to plan your teaching, you think about the problem, and you also think about the various skills a child will need or a student will need in order to solve the problem you're going to give them. So, for this case, we have these various skills that we know our student will need in order to comfortably solve this problem. So the first skills here is, let me write right up here, skills. So our first skill that I will, on my own choice, is going to be the ability of the student to differentiate between a digit and a number. So, notice one thing. My focus, as I say, for my first skill, I will actually want, or my student needs to be able to differentiate between a digit and a number. I am pretty sure that most of you actually knows what it means, a digit and what is a number. So it's a good thing for the learner to as well know what a digit is. And we all know that digits are only the numbers that are singles. That's from 0 to 9. All of any number from 0 to 9 is a digit. So now in our question, remember, it says that our number is a 5-digit number. It means any of those 5 digits between 0 to 9 is actually part of our number. So I say 0 to 9 is our 5-digit numbers. So I'm going to go forward. When the child is able now to actually make the difference, but a number, what is a number? A number can still be 0, yes, or it can still be any number from 0 to 9, or a double number, that's 2 numbers, that's, let's say, 2 and 3, this is a number, and in this number we have 2 digits, which is 2 and we have 3. So we have 2 digits. So it's good for a student to always know that a number can have one digit or even more than one digit. Like this is a number 9, but it has the digit 9. Okay? And this is a number 5, it has the digit 5. So this difference is extremely important for the student to be able to do. And this is a skill that we will consider for students of 6 and 7 years. That could be like grade 1 and 2, depending the system in which you are, or just class 2, or let's say class 2 and 3. That's something I know about some other systems. So, as I said earlier, making the difference is very important. So, the number 9 is just a one-digit number. Rather, the number 95 is a two-digit number. So when you make the difference with the student, it's helpful for the student to be able to figure this out at the end of the day. So when the student is able, or when the learner is able to differentiate between a digit and a number, that's the first stage that he gets to understand in the question. The second skill that the student will need, obviously, is to differentiate again. Differentiate between a one-digit odd and even numbers. One-digit odd and even numbers. We know that we have digit numbers which are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. These are all one-digit numbers. And within our one-digit numbers, we need to know which ones are odd numbers and which ones are even numbers. So we know our even number or our odd numbers here will be 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. Fine, good. This is another skill a child will need to know in order to solve the problem comfortably. So, if I'm done with that, I'm going to go to the next skill that the student will need in order to solve the problem as well. Now the other point is still, you see, everything here is focusing between numbers, or let's say the next skill, as I said earlier, is going to be comparing or compares. Notice the way I write my skills. Differentiates, compares, because I'm focusing on one person. I'm saying that that one individual needs to be able to do this. And if we are working in what we call a competence-based approach, this is always how we need to state our skills. So it compares numbers from 0 to 9. Because we are talking about digit numbers, and in this case, we observe that we need to be able to compare our numbers from 0 to 9, knowing which one is the biggest. Is it 9 and 8, which one is bigger? So those skills, that's a skill that a student will know. And when I look at this skill again, I will observe that this skill is a skill that actually starts from even 5 years. 5 years to 5 to 6 years. We'll be comfortable with this. Rather, on the odd and even number, we will say the student should be in let's say 6 and 7 years. And also, differentiating digit numbers and odd one-digit numbers and a number is also the same. You can take it from 6 to 7 or 6 to 8, but 6 to 7 years is comfortable as well. Now, when we go to the last skill, we say a student also needs to understand the number place value. That's the last one. Understands the number place value. But the numbers place value here, you always remember, for those in like students of 6 years is being taught right up to 100 maybe, and students of 7 right up to 1,000 and so on. So we consider that the number place value here, the student needs to understand it up to the 10, up to the 10,000s. That's it. If a child is already, so we'll think about the skill to go from like 6 up to 8 years. So this is a progress skill. So like at this age, our question, remember, is a 9-year-old question. So these are the skills that our student will need in order to be able to solve the problem. Because the question here is about understanding the various skills, as I said earlier, that our student needs. So if we've been able to understand the various skills, now I'm going to start with the problem itself and solve it. This is going to be very easy for me because I already know the difference between a digit and a number. And I also know the difference between 1-digit odd numbers and 1-digit even numbers. And I also know how to compare numbers from 0 to 9. And I also know the number place values up to 10,000s. So because I know all of this, I'm able to now solve this problem. So this is what I want you teachers to always stress on first. Knowing the skills that the student will know before solving a problem. That is going to help you when you're trying to teach the kids how to solve the problem. You always need to focus on teaching the skills rather than trying to show the answer to the student. Because showing the answer or giving the student the answer is not going to be helpful. But teaching the skills that the student needs is going to be greatly helpful for the student. Now let's go straight to the question and solve it now. And you're going to see how easy it is. So now we're going to start. So our question says that the number is a 5-digit number. The first thing we need to know here is that our number is a 5-digit number. So I will normally just put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5-digit numbers. That's my whole number is made with 5 digits. That's the first thing. And it says that all my 5-digit numbers are odd numbers. They are all odd numbers. So if I think critically and I know from 0 to 9, my odd numbers within this are 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9, right? So what I'm going to do now is simple. It's a 5-digit number, but the question goes further and says that it's a 5-digit number and they are all odd numbers. That's the second part of the question. Now, question A wants me to be able to show which possible greatest number could that be. If I'm thinking about the possible greatest number, I have to go first from the biggest number and get it forward. Because if I'm thinking about the place values, I know this is a 10,000. A 10,000. So my 10,000, which moves to 1,000, 100, ones, or 100, a tenth, a ones, or a unit, depending on which system you're working in. So when I have all of this now, I know that my 9 is right there. Which one? 9 is the biggest right now, because numbers, kids need to understand the place values, that the biggest number always goes from right or from left to right. So when they get to understand that, it's quite easier. Now, my first number is 9. My second number is 7. Which one is the biggest again? 5. Next one, 3. And finally, 1. So, my answer for A is simply 97,531. Now, question B asks, what is the value? We say in number place value. A digit, as I said earlier, from a number, but a digit in a number represents a value. For example, if I'm thinking about the value of this digit number here, it's this, 30, right? So the question here for B was, what is the value for 5, for the digit at the 100 place? And we know that the 100 place is right here. And what is the digit there? The digit there is 5. So if it's 5, what do we have? Our answer will be 500. That makes the value. So that's all about our answer. Getting the numbers from the biggest to the smallest, placing them in the number place values, that corresponds, and being able to figure out the digit at the 100 place, which is 500. I think, as I said earlier, the various skills that the student needs, he or she will easily solve this problem. As teachers, remember to always focus on the skills a student needs than focusing on the problem itself. You might not be able to help that student much if you don't focus on the skills. Thank you. See you in the next video with the next problem. Bye-bye.